It has begun. The hate for the Charlos from boxing media and boxing fans through the roof. They don't want to let these brothers live. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working now. It's been a phenomenal month for the channel. Some great fights coming up. You guys have been great with the donations, the Cash App, the Venmos, the super chats. We working. I'm feeling good, feeling great. Appreciate y'all for always supporting me on this platform. And you can also do that by hitting the ESPN Plus link and ordering the Adesanya Costa fight using my link, ESPN Plus. They got a lot of original content, but that UFC pay-per-view is coming up as well. Again, it does help the channel. Now, I had to make this video, man. The Charlo brothers are getting unnecessary hate. Leonard Ellerby, he said he's peeping how some of boxing media is picking and choosing which events that they support. And we've seen this for quite some time. You know, Leonard Ellerby is 1000% right. You have boxing media who are playing favorites. There's a great Showtime lineup. It's been great since they announced it. And when that announcement came, you heard certain people from old media that they didn't even bother to report on Showtime's schedule. But now all of a sudden they have something to say when the Charlos are about to fight and they have complaints. So it's like people are here to try to create confusion and calamity and only to complain. And there's a couple articles and stuff I want to reference. Yahoo Sports, Kevin Iole. It says, making the rounds, Derevyanchenko out to take Charlo's belt. Showtime's pay-per-views, ridiculous cost. Now, why would that be the headliner for your article? Showtime's pay-per-views, ridiculous cost, and Derevyanchenko out to take Charlo's belt. Like, this is mind-blowing to me. For Yahoo Sports to put that out and Kevin Iole to put that out September 22nd. Like, not, props to the Charlo brothers for taking on the fights that we need. These are great fights for boxing. It's a complaint, you know. Showtime's pay-per-views ridiculous cost. How is it ridiculous? It's a loaded card. Brandon Figueroa's on it. Both Charlos, before the Charlos had been on Fox together, and then they kind of split them up, and one was on Fox with Tony Harrison, Kota, Jermell, and then Jermall was on Showtime fighting Dennis Hogan and Brandon Adams. The Showtime, they got it done, CBS, Steven Espinoza and Al Heyman, to give you both Charlos on the same card, and this is what old media is doing. They're saying in the title of their headliners how it's so ridiculous. I don't see what's so ridiculous. Look, pay-per-view price sky high. The Showtime pay-per-view card is priced ridiculously high at $74.95, which all but guarantees that it will be extremely lucky to hit 100,000 buys. It's a solid card, but there is no can't miss fight on it, or a fight that people have been begging for. A lot of cards, expectations center around the hopes that the public will buy into the Charlo twins as the next big thing in boxing. Listen, you guys see what it is. There's obviously people who don't want to play fair, and they have it stacked against these brothers. If you have $74.95, support good boxing. You know, it seems so counterproductive to be a boxing media writer. Have a good fight. People said they wanted Charlo brothers to step up, even though they've fought solid people and good resume names. And they also have the personalities. And now you're getting a double header with a great undercard, and people are still complaining, right? This is the same person from Yahoo Sports, Kevin Iole, on his verified page. He says, so it looks like there will be at least 2 boxing pay-per-views in October. The UFC has proven you can sell pay-per-views during this pandemic, but you must give the people something for their money. Deep quality cards, or they'll bomb big time at the box office. So he wrote this July 21st. How is it that you says the UFC can sell pay-per-views even in the pandemic, but it has to be a quality card, right? But now you're saying the pay-per-view's too high and it's a solid card, right? This is a great card. Name a better card this year. Even the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder before the pandemic, I thought the undercard wasn't that great. You know, Sebastian Fundora and this and that. There was a couple of fights, but it like fighters on the card, but it wasn't no massive card. So in the summertime, he says you can sell, and he's bigging up the UFC, saying you can sell pay-per-views. But now he's saying that this is overpriced and all this. This is also Kevin Iole. It says, I think Spence Porter does around 125,000, maybe 150K on pay-per-view. And that's not what it was. So that was another Spence Porter pay-per-view buys viewership. So he also projected real low, right? And it says the pay-per-view, we're tracking 300. Hold on. Look, 300,000. It said 300 to 350,000. But according to Kevin Iole's forecast, Yahoo Sports, he says maybe 150. So he was way off, way wrong, right? This is The Athletics, Lance Pugmire. His mail bag or whatever, it says, will Jim Lampley return to boxing? Who cares? What does this have to do with anything? You know, he ain't been a commentator since HBO, and they ain't been in the business for years. Has Premier Boxing Champs promoted the Charlo doubleheader as it should? All this and more. Like, how are these like questions? They ran commercials on CBS. Shout out to Javen Bay. Posted this. It said the difference between a $70 Crawford versus Khan pay-per-view and a $75 for Charlo Rosario and Charlo Derevyanchenko is remarkable. And this is also Kevin Iole. It says how promoters are using Avengers Endgame to boost Terrence Crawford versus Amir Khan pay-per-view. So you see a clear-cut double standard. The same writer, Kevin Iole, April of last year, you know, he's saying that this was brilliant from Top Rank because they put Crawford versus Khan, you know, and they lined it up the same week or whatever as Avengers Endgame. But now fast forward to the future, he's talking about this is a Showtime pay-per-view and it's ridiculous. So you guys see the double standards. I could pull up more examples. You have boxing media people who are doing polls and, you know, asking, hey, are you going to buy this Charlo card? Why do you care? If you're not seeing $1 from it, regardless of if it flops or if it does well, why do you care? So we see the agenda. Eddie Hearn, Top Rank, they don't seem the same media people, same old media people. You don't see them doing the same antics when it comes to Top Rank and Bob Arum. They didn't question Crawford versus Khan because that was attached to a Top Rank card. They don't question Eddie Hearn's fight camp or ridicule it for being on pay-per-view in the UK for fights like Dillian White versus Povetkin 1 and 2 and all this and that. But when it comes to the Charlos, they have all these questions and, you know, it doesn't make sense and they can't understand why two main events would be in a pandemic, you know, why this would be on pay-per-view. PBC should take a real hard look at who they credential when you have people who they don't seem like they're out to help promote boxing in a quality way. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm a very honest person on my channel, Digital Mob New Media. So I'm okay. There's sometimes where we have to criticize what's happening in boxing. What do we need to criticize the Charlos for? The man is in shape. His brother is in wicked shape. And they're taking on sturdy tests that people want to see them fight. They're great, doing great job of promoting the fight. You know, Jermell got ringside with the Lions. They've been available for the media Zooms, and they did a media day. They had commercials on with football on CBS and things of this sort. Yet and still, old media is still complaining. They do not want to see black African-American fighters succeed. I think it's fear. They know Charlos are on the cusp of something great. Should they win? Should they look good? This is their first pay-per-view. And old media wants you to focus on all the wrong things. Instead of being a true boxing fan and being concerned with things that we should be as boxing fans concerned with, like the quality of the opposition, the meaningfulness of the fight, and, you know, how well they're doing promoting it, or, you know, what their resumes looking like, what this means for the respective divisions. They want you to focus on all the wrong stuff, like how many pay-per-view buys will it, and it's soliciting, I call it soliciting negativity. You know, all this doing polls to see how many people are buying it. You know, are you going to buy it? Heck yes, heck no. This is too expensive. They're trying to solicit negativity. They want you to be negative. They want you to open the conversation and say, oh, $75, $80 is too much. Listen, if you're a boxing fan, and this is the way it's always been, pay-per-view for the bigger fights, bigger cards, and you can't swing $80, then you should probably look at your spending, you know, look at what you buy, look at how much you eat out and things like that. But how don't people have enough money? I know wrestling fans, if they want to watch a WrestleMania or SummerSlam or something and it's a pay-per-view, then they do what they got to do. UFC, you got to pay $65 or whatever the case is for the UFC pay-per-views. You know, Amanda Nunes was a UFC pay-per-view. Why aren't people complaining about that? She was in a fight that wasn't even as loaded, and a fight card as loaded when the pandemic first hit, and it did horrible numbers. But they want the Charlos to fail. I'm telling you, that's what we're getting at. I'm definitely buying this pay-per-view. Shout out to my man Derek James. Texas is in here heavy. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. You know, it's just fear. It's fear. Charlos are black, young, black, rich, outspoken. They do things their way. And then you wonder why they're angry and don't speak to certain media people or snap on media people. But look at what they're up against every time. And this is what we continually see with black fighters. You know, there were rumors that Teofimo Lomachenko would be on pay-per-view. That's one fight. Top Rank historically hasn't given you stacked undercards, right? That's one fight. And nobody was complaining about Teofimo Lomachenko, who don't even have the personalities or the depth of the Charlos, you know, in terms of, especially Lomachenko. You know, Teofimo, he's kind of a trash talker. He'll help sell the fight, but the Charlos are just money in terms of entertainment. Nobody complained about it. Thankfully, they got it done for regular ESPN, but the same people, you see the double standards in the games they're playing, they didn't complain when Lomachenko was rumored to be on pay-per-view. Now that they see that Charlos are in meaningful fights that nobody could deny, you can't deny the Charlos' greatness should they win. You could easily put them on the pound for pound list if they look strong here and have good showings, and they don't want them to succeed on pay-per-view. So I need everybody that likes my channel. This ain't even, I don't get a cent from Showtime. They don't pay me. I don't get no money from them. I make all my money online and covering boxing like I always do. You know, you guys send super chats too, and that stuff's cool, but I don't get no money from it. But we got to stand up as boxing fans. If you could swing it, order this pay-per-view. Support good boxing. You know, people are like, oh, I could stream it for free. Don't do that, because then when the fights you want don't happen, then don't complain about that. You know, if you're never willing to break bread and give back to the sport you supposedly love. And I told you on my channel, New Media, the whole situation was started for protecting the fighters and protecting the integrity of the sport of boxing. These black fighters, Charlo, Jermell, and Jermall, people have this, you know, agenda against them, and they don't want to see him succeed. I don't care if you like him. I don't care if you don't like how Charlo acts or his voice. I don't care about that. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing legacy-wise for his career. Canelo up here wanted to fight Avni Yildirim. This man has taken a tough fight with Jason Rosario, who might be bigger than him. He's a big puncher, and he just stopped Julian J. Rock Williams in J. Rock Williams' backyard, and he looked good. After the first round, I gave every round to Rosario before the stoppage, right? Same thing with Big Charlo. Jermall, this man fighting Derevyanchenko, who we all watch beat Triple G, and people are complaining about the price point. This is sickening. This is really disgusting in the world of boxing. Listen, there's a lot of boxing media, And I know they want to get the big paychecks like me. They want to make money, and they not making money in this game. They being ushered out. They being pushed out. No one cares about them. No one listens to them. Nobody's coming to them. They don't have podcasts, or they don't have the ability to go live stream. They haven't established those things, and they're getting ushered out. So they're disgruntled. I get it. But don't hate on the sport of boxing and try to prevent the sport from growing and fighters from growing. Listen, Mayweather's first couple of pay-per-views, they weren't what he ultimately became. Pay-per-view is a process. So I don't fault PBC for testing the waters, seeing, getting a pulse of things. Mayweather Gotti, I believe, was his first pay-per-view. He did 300-something thousand. Errol Spence is doing that right now. Wilder is doing these types of numbers. Now they're going to try to get the Charlos. It's a process. Gervonta Tank Davis doing a pay-per-view. So you got to test the waters. But notice the common denominator. Al Heyman, Black Advisor, fighters like Gervonta getting nonstop hate. The Charlo brothers, nonstop hate. Wilder, nonstop hate. You tell me what it is. But don't allow that, bro. This is not, for me, about black and white, but you see the games that old media wants to play. So support this card if you can swing it. And, let's keep boxing's integrity in check. You see it. You see people, the Showtime pay-per-view. If you don't want to buy it, then you're not buying it. But why do you have to try to hate and prevent and solicit negativity so you don't want others to buy it? That's foul. It's like you trying to sabotage boxing. Look, Bob Arum, he's a founder of Top Rank. He's a Jewish Harvard graduate, and this was his card. Terrence Crawford versus Amir Khan pay-per-view, and the write-up and the headliner completely different than the Charlos. Al Heyman, Black Advisor, and it says, Showtime's pay-per-view at a ridiculous cost and whoop. But it's a great card. It's a great card, and it's loaded. What are we talking about? Both top-ranked Terrence Crawford fights, if we're really being honest, Postal and Crawford, and then also Crawford versus Amir Khan, those weren't really pay-per-view fights that people were really requesting. You see what I'm saying? These are great fights, and people are still trying to find some way to solicit negativity. It's bad, bro. And we got to stand for something as real boxing fans to see the growth of the sport. If not, then you guys want to see the sport collapse. You don't want every sport needs is standout stars. Like basketball got the Kobe Bryants and LeBron Jameses and the Jordans and whatnot. You need that. They don't want to see these brothers shine, and they literal brothers. I want to see them shine. I think them winning is actually better for the sport of boxing. They got the look, they got the personalities, they got some drip. They're taking a hold of their legacy, their branding. Listen, I don't care who wins. Whoever wins is going to win. May the best man win. But with the Charlos, I have no problem with what they're doing. They're building their brands and their legacy. Support that. Support great boxing. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. New media, digital mall, y'all know what it is. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more sports. Get unlimited access to premium content with an ESPN Plus subscription. ESPN Plus offers a variety of content, including specials, behind the scenes, docuseries like Bruce Lee's Be Water, and much more. With an ESPN Plus subscription, you get access to a ton of classic archive fights and replays from boxing and the UFC. Big names like, "Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Come and watch my fight." Floyd Mayweather, "Easy work. I'm rich." And Manny Pacquiao, "Yes, it's up to my promoter. Just to name a few. If that's not enough, you could get the ESPN bundle, which includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All three apps, one low price. You don't want to miss out. Make sure you guys click that link in the description box of all of my videos. Ego, signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.